Hi, the focus of this video is adding integers with plus and minus tiles. Now, those are just going to be pluses and minuses that represent a positive unit or a negative unit of 1. So we're going to start with this first one, 4 plus 2. Now, the 4 would be represented as 4 plus tiles. That's a collection of tiles, whereas we add 2 to that collection of tiles. And these are also positive tiles. Now, when we add those, that will now give us 6 positive tiles. So 4 plus 2 is 6. Now, when we get to negative integers, this is where it'll be more helpful. You need to understand that that first 4, still positive, indicated by 4 positive units, but that second term that we're adding to it is represented by 2 negative tiles, because that is a negative 2. So when we add these to the pile, to our collection, what that gives us now is 2 values with a plus and a minus together. So if we look at the number line, that kind of reminds us that if we have a positive and a negative together, now think of the tightrope that we did in a previous video, where a 1 would be a 1-foot step in a positive direction, and a negative 1 would be 1 foot in the negative direction. So a positive 1 and a negative 1 would give us 0. So this plus 1 and the minus 1 we call a 0 pair. So that 0 pair and that 0 pair give us a value of 0, but what's left over in that collection as a whole is 2 positives. So that would explain why 4 plus negative 2 is 2. Now, this next one, we have negative 4 plus 2. We're starting off with 4 negative units. So the minus sign would represent that 4 negatives. So we're adding to that collection 2 positives. So when we add those 2 positives to that collection of tiles, we have created 2 0 pairs. So those 2 0 pairs will leave us with 2 negatives in that collection, a value of negative 2. So that's why negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Now take the negative plus a negative, we have nothing but a collection of negatives. In this case, we are not creating any 0 pairs, because to this collection of 4 negatives, we're only adding 2 more negatives. So that collection would have a value of negative 6, because we have a collection of 6 negatives. No 0 pairs were created in making that. Now, the organization of the pluses and the minus is crucial, especially when we have more terms in our expression, such as, let's do 5 plus negative 3 plus 4 plus 2 plus negative 7. Now, this might be hard to organize if you're not thinking of it in terms of pluses and minuses, positive and negative tiles. First, we have a collection of 5 positives. Then we're adding 3 negatives to it, giving us 3 0 pairs. We now have a value of 2. Then we're adding 4 positives to it. Then we're adding 2 more positives to it. We can now see what our value is without the 0 pairs. We now have 8. So 7 negatives is the final term that we're adding to this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negatives will leave us with all these 0 pairs and 1 positive left over. So all these zeros plus 1 equals 1.